Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another SpellForce free cast. We've got in the purple color our elf player DonHyperion appearing here as Wildwood Ranger in the game. On the other side, he really likes to change his names. On the other side, we've got Leasha playing as the trusty trolls. She really likes her trolls. Got the Ranger fitting with the name, right? But we're leaving the... No, the bag! Oh god. That's not so good. On the other side, we've got the Beak Eye. Leasha is really fond of this Beak Eye, interestingly enough. The map is a custom one, so if you've never seen it before, this is Wolfguard Mage Academy. And it's a little bit work in progress in terms of like the environment art, right? Things are a little plain, but it's got a really interesting layout. And we've got some interesting enemies to go after. Obviously, there's your box standard bandits. But then you got these mountain lions, which are pretty cool. Then you've got your Nars here in the sides. And up top, you've got an air elemental. All of these are usually not in the multiplayer maps, so that's cool. And this guy is a straight up new enemy. So the modders are working hard to make things a little bit more interesting for sure. I, for one, really appreciate it. Hope you guys do too. And at some point, I'm sure the visuals of the maps get upgraded as well. But in the meantime, the players are sure testing them out. Now, for the elves, we've got a box standard build as well with the triple wood, single hunting cabin. The expansion is probably... Oh, wait. That might not be the right expansion to get for the elves at first. Hold up a second. Maybe this would have been the right base to go. But you kind of want to get the front bases so that the trolls don't do what they're doing right now. So that's a little bit problematic. Oh, and by the way, as far as modding goes, the heroes are new as well to some degree. Like the Beak Guy in this one. The Ranger is a base game hero. But basically, our modders made it so that you can have a third hero pick with every faction. And actually, the Undead... Also a modded faction, by the way, like they don't exist at all in the base game. The Undead have actually 4 choices now. And some of these heroes get special items as well if there's like a mid-map merchant, which in this map appears up here on this pedestal. So if you go there, you might get some special weapons there. I'm not sure if the Ranger has one yet. She probably should, right? I know for a fact that the Beak Eye does, however. Like, the Beak Eye even has a skill to do with separate weapons. If you go for this perk on the right side, then you buff your weapons. Depending on which one you hold, it's different kinds of buffs. But if you want attack buffs or movement speed, you make your choice on your weapon. But yeah, it's just a bit of a spear thrower at the moment. He's got a single and multi-throw. He's got a trap to place, and he can promote your burbs into better versions, which at some point we should be seeing from Leasha. She really does like to open just with normal smashers, but eventually she will do something to do with the burbs. Which is going to be great for harass plays. By the way, these neutral trolls are just guarding the bridges. For the troll toll. Makes sense. You gotta pay it. So there is definitely a build where you just open up with your hero to go this way and then get a more rich base. For the trolls, there's also scrap metal here, which is great. Right there. Going after the Nars is definitely an option for the trolls because their smashers are just insane. These baddies are applying the bloodied affliction here, which is just attracting more attacks from enemies, and it looks like it's applying bloodlust to enemies, which increases their attack speed. So really dangerous to mess with these guys in the early game, especially if the other guy comes around to ruin your life. So a little bit of creep jacking is very dangerous. Not so for the trolls, I'd say. Hey, what was that for the Beak Guy there? Oh, that's the Eyes in the Sky skill, right? Which applies like the Hunter's Mark to enemies, reducing their pierce resist. which is great news for the Beakai because he's dealing pierce damage. And once you upgrade the Smashers to throwers, they'll also be dealing pierce damage. You also got the Iron Beaks, but these are basic ones for now. Ooh, that Smasher is super low. Wolf will finish it. That's the summon from the Ranger, of course. I'll explain the Ranger. It's in the base game. You guys will know it by now. Although we will take a quick look at the skill picks. Oh. What? Wait, did Leasha get that bad of a deal here? I mean, she did lose 3 of the Smashers. That's a tragic resignation right there, I must say. The hero was still gonna be fine, but I guess Leasha just didn't want to deal with only having the sectors in these 2 spots, right? Or 3 spots, actually, 3 spots. Plus the main. I don't think it's that bad. Like, DonHyperion is still in tier 1. You know, you had your Gnar kills. Things are not that bad. A path to level 5 would have definitely been a problem for the elves to deal with. So I would have liked to see Leasha continue in this one. She also had resources, so food wasn't a problem. It's a strange resign, definitely. But DonHyperion is going to take the first point in this best of 5. And we're just going to jump into the next one right away. It was a very big army loss, to be fair, but nothing too tragic. I think you ought to continue here. So, Leasha is changing factions here on Red Wastes. This is a very, very open map, and the Dark Elves are typically very strong. That is what Leasha will be doing. With the Guardian of Nor over there. And as for DonHyperion, he's sticking with the Elves. But he's switching to the green color, which is superior, because now we can tell the 2 players apart. It would be helpful if they didn't go pink versus purple, to be honest. But yeah, this map is interesting because it's super open. Unlike pretty much any other SpellForce 3 map, which essentially has these very cordoned off bases and clear paths to follow, where this one is just wide open plains, which makes for some great variety. Like, you can just go anywhere, do anything. There's no high ground to abuse. There's no choke points to abuse. So a more spammy faction like the Dark Elves is going to be rather interesting here. Obviously with the Tarantulas, that's going to synergize well. And there's a lot of food in this base. Not this base, but some of these bases have 150. Some of them have even more than that. 250 in these side bases. Those are important for the Dark Elves to grab. But this Guardian is already going down as Leasha is bonking it with the Guardian of Nor. Quick teleport back to try and get rid of the Spectral Wolf, which may or may not happen. Probably not. Not realistic. But then again, destroying that Dark Ensign is a tall order for Leasha there. She's gonna try. For Leasha, excuse me, for DonHyperion. He's the elves. And even though that did happen in the end, Leasha will have to leave because DonHyperion just remade the flag. Probably one of the worst things in SpellForce that you can so easily remake a flag, and then they're pretty tanky, and I don't know. Feel like it should take a moment to build them. But look how quick it is. 750 health in that period. You get maybe 1 attack through from a hero on these as they construct. Now they're just separating from each other, going after each other's creeps. And Leasha will be going after the bandits, which do drop a potion, so at least there's a little bit of a greater reward to be seen in this one. Just double checking on Leasha's Guardian of Nor stuff here. We've got Debilitating Blow. We've got Soul Explosion. We've got 1 point in blocking momentum, but none in deep waters. And then there's Brute Force.
Building completed.
See a Dawn's Ranger here. Definitely up for a tough ride, but already has more sectors technically than the Dark Elves. It's just that the Dark Elves have a much cheaper cost to upgrade sectors, so they'll be able to take more of them and have a more granular economy as a result. However, the Elves have just more workers granted by the bases, so although they'll have control of fewer of them, they're getting more bang for buck, basically. It's just if the Dark Elves are able to control more bases, they're probably able to get rid of more flags as well. Okay, Leasha's heading back to take the last of the bases, and then we'll be probably going after the Medusa camps going forward. DonHyperion is trying to lure them out, but unfortunately is triggering all 5 of them, which is, you know, that's too much. Even for the Elves, maybe especially for the Elves. Although the Wolf does tank quite a bit of damage here. I do think Dawn can take on 3 of them. Leasha hasn't even started. Has a whole bunch of Tarantulas. And because Tarantulas are so widely available on this map, I think it's probably a better idea to go for the Warlock hero, which is also new in the mod. But then again, Guardian of Nor is an incredible hero, so I'm not gonna make any complaints. Hopefully we'll see the new item for this guy. Because normally he has like sword and shield, right? But what you can do is get rid of that blocking shield, which, you know, it's strong. I'm not sure you should, but you could actually pick up a halberd, a two-handed halberd, and if nothing else, it's interesting. Guardians pulling back, staying alive, staying alive. Only a Medusa Vixen is left now in the middle, but there's also the second Medusa camp, obviously. Dark Elves now trying to siege this down. But the upgrade should be coming through, and then the repair rate will increase, and the defenders are teleporting back in. So I'm not entirely sure that this is the best of moves. We've also had a wolf explosion over there. But these Guardians are getting terribly weak, and some great focus fire from the Infiltrators will take him down. The Spiders move out, destroy the base as well, leaving only the Ranger here. She is level 4, but this is just a little bit too much, isn't it? Leaving is the only choice. Like I said, the dwarves? Dark Elves, they can really pump here. I see the name DonHyperion, and all I can think about is dwarves. Also, I recently got obsessed with this new song from what's its name again? Angus Mac 6. The song is Dig Down. Main character mocks a dwarf for falling in love with an orc. I highly recommend it. It's hilarious. Some great power metal. Anyways. No wonder that's all I can think about. There's a level 4. Legend in the chat knows exactly what I mean. Vixen is gonna get that cast off, it looks like. But meanwhile, the Spiders are gonna heal. Love the sacrifice skills on the Guardian of Nor. It's just so fitting for the Dark Elves. Level 5 is reached. That's the big deal here for Leasha. Actually gets the Frozen Time Relic, which is great for some extra attack speed and casting speed. I wonder what it will be used for, because you get all these casts, especially soul transformation benefits greatly from the cast speed improvement. So yeah, level 2 soul transformation is in fact coming through, and we're gonna have Mark of Corruption as well, which you can use to propagate all these debuffs and do some major damage. Spectral Bear is out for DonHyperion, and it's ripping into the Dark Elves at the moment pretty good. Martyrial Sacrifice is available should it be needed. The Ranger is getting terribly low health at the moment and probably does not want to mess around too long here. The Bear is toast. With a potion, things are back online. It's just that Leasha is kind of at 67 population and DonHyperion is on 0. So if you can't pull off some kind of tier 2 play here, then you're going to be in massive, massive trouble indeed. Silence on the Ranger, the only unit available. Well, there's a Spectral Bear, I suppose. Tier 2 is in, but it's not doing anything until there's iron units. And there's 0 iron at the moment. Is there iron being gathered at least? No, not in that base. Here, it's starting up as no workers for them. Oh no, this is tragic. This iron base is at least coming online, but in the meantime the Ranger is just getting bullied, and even though we got the Shrine of Growth level 3, it's just barely enough to hold the tide at bay, and there's a lot more infiltrators coming in. Heroes adding in its damage now also. Don has to do everything he can to protect this. I like the pre-split and the movement on the infiltrators, by the way. If they can just split up some more, then the hero won't be a problem. Anyway, it has teleported out. Bear gets sniped easily enough. Now for that base. More spooters are coming through as well. Tier 2 for the Dark Elves has been in. And we should probably be looking at iron mines coming up soon there as well. We've got a bunch already on the way. Some of them already mining. And once sleepers get added, it's going to be extremely difficult for the elves to hold the line here. Armor is unlocked for the Ranger. Getting the hero off the base is great, but actually some spider kills needed to happen as well. And with no units around, that just wasn't possible. The Spectral Bear only got summoned after the fact, and DonHyperion was simply a little bit too late. So the Dark Elves are going to take over this base too, and there's so much food here, as if they needed more population. Leasha is doing a great job of spending the resources and putting on pressure in this one. Whereas DonHyperion is just going to have to turtle up with Wanderers, of all things. Okay, I did not expect that. But they should work okay against the Spiders. The Spiders do magic damage, you see, and the Wanderers have no resist, but they at least aren't going to suffer against strike damage, right? Which these guys don't have. Great Soul Harvest there, by the way. That's a full set of Echo over there. So Dark Elves should also be able to bring out, I don't know, Siege at this point? You probably just want Siege. Like, you have enough everything else. Just add in Siege. Make it easier to take down the bases. It's enough Echo for it. Guardian Noor is going absolutely insane on those Wanderers. You don't even need items for this guy at the moment. And like I said, those Sleepers are adding in some much needed melee damage, which is also going to be great against the Wanderers. So I'm surprised that Dawn didn't actually go into Protectors or something like that, which are a whole lot more tanky and don't care so much about the Guardian of Noor. That is a lot of Wanderers though, and a single sleeper obviously isn't going to be a problem. It's more like a large group of them would be. Another Soul Harvest is coming through. So there's definitely enough now for a Basilisk to be made. Dawn's coming in to defend to the best of his ability. Spectral Bear gets the Moonveil buff. Do we have the health perk? No, everyone's just focusing. That Ranger is nasty. No Spirit Bond. Oh! Upgraded to a Shrine of Thorns instead. It's a level 3 Shrine of Thorns, so you have to take it pretty seriously. It's got these crazy bouncy attacks that just hit every enemy. Although they're not very strong, these attacks. I have to say the 50 pure damage is just not a lot. It does slow down enemies a little bit, but yeah, it's just really not all that, right? And it makes it so that all your workers are gone. And now we've got to pay for transforming the base again, so I'm not a huge fan of Shrine of Thorns, to be honest, guys. That was a very desperate play. Especially with all the bases having been upgraded, of course, already. In terms of health, it probably did save the base. A lot of wood here for our Wildwood Ranger. Maybe it would be prudent to just transfer them to Iron Mines, those woodworkers. I think that just happened as I said it. Some of the spiders are getting cut into, but with the Guardian of North just jumping in the midst of Wanderers and enfeebling them, their damage has gone down a lot. And now the army can just go after them. There's sleepers in there. There's plenty of infiltrators to snipe them. And they don't have resists to help out on that front. DonHyperion is going to give up. This is just very dominant play by Leasha there. These two are just wrecking each other's faces, I guess. Well, it's a best of 5, so we're going to find out what else they've got. But so far, so good. I hope that we get a closer, longer match. So, we're back here. But it's different. You see, DonHyperion is green. On the other side, we've got Leasha. She's still pink. Same heroes, same Z's. It's all the same. I hope the game will be different. Build orders the same as well. Or is it? Yes, it is. It is. Team food first. 2 hunting huts for Leasha, which means 4 tree choppers and 2 stone breakers. Gonna expand towards the bottom again. No lion business. Not so for Dawn. He's taking the lions first. There is wood here. So that should be your first base to upgrade. Trolls have a straight path to more cutthroats here, which means more potions for the beak guy. So if he ever struggled with potions. Of course, additional smashers are getting made in classic Leasha style. DonHyperion is heading down here, but by the time he gets here, these creepos are very low health, which means most of the XP will just go to Leasha. Likewise with that pick me up. So Leasha now has 2 extra potions compared to the Ranger here. I like the pathing a lot from Leasha, to be honest. Like, it's just really straightforward, isn't it? And then you can just go and take your remaining banditos and go straight onto the top mountain lions and follow up with the Nars. You'll be very close to level 5 with a little bit of fighting. You should just get it. And probably dominate against the early elf business, which is gonna be just Guardians. Guardians aren't tanky, right? So they're really gonna take a beating against your level 5 skills. But the good news for them is they do have a little bit of pierce resistance. It's just they're not gonna have such a good time against smashers, and especially once you have stronger stuff than that, skull crushers, that is even worse. As the prophecy has foretold, we are going after mountain lions. Whereas Dawn is just more interested in securing bases. But so far, so good for Leasha. It's looking like there will be 3 troll bases so far. That's really all you need in the early stages of the game. Trolls will do well with that much. Oh, the elves can't expand much faster. They have very expensive bases. They get a lot of workers for the trouble, but hey, the troll workers are just stronger, better. Smashers are a little bit vulnerable to these early snipes, by the way. If you really focus your damage, especially with a good single target unit like the Ranger. Ranger is just really good at this. A whole deal of reducing early enemy units one by one, but so is the Beak-Eye, to be honest. So 2 can play at that game. DonHyperion is just gonna want to keep on the pressure here. Keeps finding flags. Oh, no attack move there. Just walk past each other. The eye banner is now under attack once more. Got some decent harassment from the Pathfinder as well. Obviously that will go slowly, but every worker you kill takes time to replace. It's income that the other guy won't be having. You should decide to stay here, fight off the Guardian, get the flag back up perhaps. And maybe pump out some more. Hello there, what's going on? The troll guard actually is causing trouble, what the heck? Alright, he's gonna get bonked now. That's that. It is a weaker version of Smashers, so your normal Smasher guy wins that. Dawn's taking over the top base. Leasha isn't there to stop it. That could be a problem. Why are we going over here? I really thought this would be a creeping match, but I guess not. Leasha is a little too worried about that Ranger, I'd say. Where are the Smashers anyway? How is there only one Smasher? Leasha has so much food. Oh, here comes DonHyperion to cause even more trouble. The Guardian is wedged in between the building and the wall. So shooting these Stonebreaker workers is coming easy. And Leasha doesn't have a lot of stone, in fact, right now. Fighting the Nars is just not gonna happen, it seems.
Damn it. It's more complicated than I thought.
Dawn's still going for the harass place. There's some workers here to finish off, definitely. Guardian gets away at 12 health. Wow. Another worker getting cut down. Now there's 3 Smashers. That is quite a lot better. You can go after Nars with that, but you want to be careful because if the Ranger finds you, you'll probably end up losing some of those. DonHyperion is absolutely dominating the map. The trolls do have 3 sectors for themselves. Hopefully they'll soon have a little bit of scrap collection as well. Where is the scrap in this base? It's not here. It's up here. There's no scrapper just yet. Leasha is spending all the food at least. Don just done a great job with very minimal units to cause a whole lot of damage. Leasha's actually got 31 population against just 8. So this seems a little bit illegal to do that much damage. Spots the scrapper, but will lose that guardian, no doubt. But hey, Dawn is tier 2. Can get going with that iron economy, and that is in fact starting with a whole bunch of iron mines getting made now. Up north here as well. I'm not sure you can hold that sector with that many smashers around. And so little in defending population, of course. Yeah, Shrine of Growth is getting bonked hard. But the base upgrade just comes through. And Dawn's still focus firing onto those smashers. Leasha's just gonna leave. Leasha. Dawn isn't gonna go after Nars. That would be way too greedy. Just controlling the middle of the map, and perhaps the scrap gathering is gonna be the main objective. There is enough scrap to turn quite a few smashers, however, into Skull Crushers, but Leasha's going for throwers. One of the scrappers has surprisingly died there. They can be pulled away, and they have 950 health, so they're pretty tanky. Don't have to worry about them too much. And with the throwers coming through, things are gonna be quite a bit different. Just gonna keep sending that scrapper all around the base. DonHyperion has to leave as the multi-spear throw abilities are just a little bit too much for those Guardians to handle. They're pretty low health, so keeping them alive here is essential to hold on to bases for now. Until the tier 2 units come in.
Let us see.
Even more iron mines are coming through. The space to sneak a scrapper in the middle of the map. Seriously? Wait. What? Where? Oh, here. Yeah, those are good spots. And you could actually get away with it. Like, around the edge of the forest. There's no visibility there. Of course, if Dawn builds anything in the area, that changes. Anyways, good choice to go into the Wardens. Strong single target damage to take out the trolls. Always makes good sense. There's maybe a little bit too many throwers at the moment to want to engage it. Wait, there's below the middle altar as well? Huh? Okay, that scrapper got sent in the wrong spot. You can't see this in the standard rotation. That's so evil. I love it. Protectors are joining the battle as well. Adding this massive phalanx aura to everybody. And this time the hero doesn't counter it with magic damage because Beak Eye is Mr. Pierce damage. Adding a handful of protectors is a huge play here. Leasha definitely is strong enough now to go for the Nars. With such a large army, they're really not a problem. Like, you know, your heroes are great. Definitely, but they do need a lot of support. SpellForce 3 is not really a hero-centric game that much. You are all about the army. The hero supports them. We do tend to see a lot of death balls, however. That's just kind of how these work. But it doesn't mean you can't split off a few guys to go and do a little mission, you know? A little bit of harass play can be huge. Beak Eye gets shut down, doesn't get to place a trap. And the troll units just weren't cut out for this. As I said, those wardens are quite something, and once you have protectors that buff other protectors, they get 45% resistances against these two basic damage types, so you'll really need a mages to clean this up. See if Leasha's planning a transition. Strong Heart of the Tribe is done. And we should be seeing the base upgrades soon as well. So that we can collect offerings. And trolls only have 2 tiers, right? So it's pretty difficult to set it up. But once it's done, you don't have to do any more. Whereas the elves have a 3rd tier. Skull Crusher's going to do the business, but fighting against protectors, they're not gonna get hurt too much by this stuff. Whereas Guardians and Wanderers and those guys, those definitely would be feeling the pain. I just don't think there's enough trolls here to take on such an advanced Elven tier 2 army. They're picking off a few protectors now. Gonna focus fire on the Beak Eye. I don't know about that, because you just drink potions and your army does the work, right? But I still don't think Leasha has enough stuff to be cost effective here. Or maybe she does? Actually, DonHyperion is overstaying. When you're killing a hero, it looks impressive. But if you leave that much behind, you've done 0 resource damage and you've suffered a lot for it. It definitely doesn't pay all the time to be sniping heroes. Still, Dawn has been ahead for the longest time, has all these extra sectors. All Leasha is just once Leasha doubles the worker count by upgrading these bases, it's actually not that bad.
Damn it. This is more complicated than I thought.
Dawn will need to get that level 5 and upgrade that ranger some more, hey? Maybe going on a shopping run here. We have a potion of fresh start. What the hell for? Are we opting out of the pet gameplay? It's a lot of extra buttons, but not a lot of extra effect against trolls, to be fair. Plus, they have a big army. They're just gonna one-shot the wolf or bear and carry on with the rest. Anyway, what are we buying? Tier 3 weapon, tier 2 armor. And we're off. 82 population of very high tier Elven units. The protectors are upgraded as well to do AoE damage now.
Our scholars have finished researching a new technology.
Oh, the fresh start potion is the reward for the Gnar group. I forgot. I didn't remember that. Okay, we got a tier 3 weapon as well. The throwing spike of throwing for the Beak Eye here, and the tier 2 armor, but we have a hashtag no equip situation. Everyone's getting upgrades in the hitting camp. We've got Skull Crushers, Wall Breakers, all sorts of shit. Why are we upgrading the Spike Flingers though? Wait, probably shouldn't do that. Leasha's doing pretty good on the macro front. A handful of idle workers still pending. A lot of wood, which can be turned into shelters for population. We've got a full-on Death Ball versus Death Ball fight. I think I favor the elves still, but the population advantage for the trolls is definitely being felt. The hero snipe is once again one of those things that you probably shouldn't try to do too hard. Just focus down the individual troll units. Then again, protectors, they deal strike damage, so they're not that damaging at the moment against Skull Crushers. They also resist pretty good, so Smashers on the other hand will take full damage. We're lacking a little bit of wardens here for Dawn, and you know what else Dawn could do? I keep yapping about this, but a handful of druids added into the Elven army to heal protectors on the front lines. With their beam ability, of course. I think that's just amazing, like, why not, you know? Looks like this back and forth is staying on. Don was running around a bit, but there wasn't enough time for these protectors to get back to full health. The trolls as well are full health-ish. It's a pretty even fight at the moment. Picking off the Skullcrackers would be a big play that opens up the elves to go after the Spike Flingers. Level 5's achieved on the Ranger, but both heroes are level 5, so you really don't want to mess with that beak guy while it's got the ultimate on.
We're being attacked.
Looks like it's just Hail of Arrows level 2 and Bullseye level 2. Really wants to take that hero out of the battle and slow down these basic trolls. The basic trolls are getting wrecked, by the way. They're not having a great time at all. Leasha didn't yet use the level 5 skills, by the way. We don't have an ultimate, and now with the front line being gone, the elves can do whatever they want. They even have 2 ballistas, and this is largely due to the addition of the wardens now, I would say. Leasha is finally using the ultimate, so multi-spear throw, every attack is on, in fact. Lots faster attacks as well, but with the entire army mounting, it looks like Leasha's just gonna give up. We never got around to the mage units, which were gonna be so badly necessary. Great job by DonHyperion again, controlling the map early on. Takes the lead in this series with that. Not a lot of damage by the hero, but what matters is that you get those pickoffs. Every troll that you stop in the early game isn't going to be turning into a stronger troll in the late game, so it really does snowball like that if you can control them like this. Of course, if you just let them build up, they're gonna go over and bonk you real good. But yeah, the map control by itself doesn't necessarily mean much. You have a lot more workers, obviously, than the trolls, but in terms of the total resources gathered, you're actually behind because they're so much better than yours. So yeah, you know, you're keeping pace with them, but you still need to pick off those trolls individually in order to get that snowball effect of preventing the stronger units later. Alright, game 4. We've got Leasha back on the Dark Elves here on the Red Wastes. Worked well last time. See if DonHyperion can figure out the elves here. I think it should be doable. But once again with the Ranger, which is going to imply a little bit of slower play. It's much harder to get real control against the Dark Elves like you do against the Trolls. And Leasha is actually going for the Warlock, the new hero provided by the mods. It's also going to synergize a lot better with spider spams, which we'll probably see. For skills, we've got Death, single target damage. And once you upgrade that to level 2, it's pretty sick. Actually, it gets way stronger, but it also hurts you. We've got Curse of Inflexibility, which is like an attack speed reducer for enemies. Also reduces block chance, but that's probably not going to be in play in this one. I can't think of a single thing that has block chance on the Elven side. We've got Life Tap, which is a small life leech. You know, using it every 13 seconds, that's actually pretty good. Somewhere near as good as potions, but hey, keeps your guy alive. Got Venom Blast, which is not a lot of damage, but the damage over time aspect is. And it reduces enemy attack speed. And then you got the Spider Master's Presence, which is what makes spiders a whole lot better. Just more stats for your spiders as long as they're near your hero, which they will be. You got Web Throw, even more buffs for spiders and impairs for enemies, so your spiders can run them down. Get a good surround on them, especially while the spiders themselves are hastened. You got Incubating Touch, which puts your spider eggs into people, and then the spiders come out like little babies. They're so cute. Got Dark Almightiness, which is your long-term, your long duration cast. It really takes such a long time to cast this, but it applies a very strong version of Inflexibility, and it does massive damage. So if you can get that off, it's gonna be difficult against the Ranger, but if you can get that off, that's probably a finisher skill right there, especially with Def 2 together. And should you lose this hero, which you probably will, at some point, then you get a giant Def Spider. Just gotta pick this perk for it. And then you can, you know, leech focus with Spider Weaver's Blessing, apply Venom. And lastly, what's the third level of this? Oh, it's just more. Also, when you're attacked, you'll be leeching. Okay. You probably don't need that, to be honest. I think it's okay to just lose the hero and get the big Spooder out. But DonHyperion is already putting on the hurt. How did that happen with Leasha? I'm just explaining the skills and this guy's already like murdering heroes. This is not normal at 3 minutes. Great grab on a very important sector of this map. High food sectors are exactly what you want to deny in order to get the spider spam under control. You're also pretty good at the flag fight stuff, right? Like you got the Spectral Wolf as an additional summon. Your Guardians have super high DPS early on here. You can knock people down with this hero. So if the other hero tries to rebuild a flag, you can just say nope. Bonk him on the ground like this. Grab the flag yourself. Get some great tempo going. It's the downside of this is that the elves can't easily upgrade bases. Like they're not going wide as easily as dark elves are. Now we got the Spooder buffs. But the Warlock is at a skill level disadvantage. With only level 2 being done here, that's actually very problematic. You can't even get that Death Spider perk. If DonHyperion keeps farming this, he'll go to level 4 in no time. Can he stop the flag though? I would suspect not. There are a little bit too many tarantulas around for that. Probably don't want to trade your health into the flags like this. So yeah, just getting out of here is probably the right play. Kill some workers on the way out. Step lumberjack, I'm stuck. What? Help. What is going on? That woodcutter is definitely too close to the trees. Oh no. Again? And there's no Depth Spider, obviously. We haven't leveled up. But this ranger, it's gotta be close, right? Yeah. Getting these spooters now. And potentially the Medusa later. Oh wait, there's still the top creeps, the boring old undead. Those are an easy target. Oh, that's what you get for not working hard enough, lumberjacks. All they need to do is move out of the way. What are we shopping for? Wait a second, Leasha is shopping too. Norse Claw. It's just a better staff. This is not even the fancy staff. The fancy staff is in the middle, which you can basically incubate enemies with spiders with that. Sadly, we're not going to see that for a long time, if at all. Leasha just bought... Sorry, DonHyperion just bought potions. It's going to be pretty easy to go after these Medusa, especially 3 at a time or something like that. Although DonHyperion can see this. Still... What? This is Leasha. Can see this. Workers were idle for a long time. Got the bottom sector at least. Things can get going. And maybe that Warlock should be able to take over the Medusa bases. Like, they have more stuff than the elves here. As I'm trying to say, like, if you don't super hard commit with the elves in tier 1, you're not gonna have more stuff than the dark elves, and you kind of end up losing the fights anyway. And spiders and infiltrators together are in my opinion, just better than Guardians on a map like this, because you can spam them so hard. There's enough sectors for it anyway. That said, Ranger is reaching level 5 here for sure. Vixen is gonna get off the skill, but without hitting anyone, so DonHyperion didn't bother to shut that down. When a little bit of micro does the trick. Ring of Nullification is a reward with 6.6 grand in the bank. Don can do whatever. We might be seeing some unending volley, but I think he prefers hail of arrows and bullseye. Don't really see him picking true shot too much, which is a really interesting skill actually. I like it a lot. Wait, there's like a multiplayer perk in this. We got a new ball. Iron's Wrath. Oh, I'm pausing this. What the hell is this doing? I have never seen this before. So, trigger spell with every attack, magic damage, and if target does not have condition chilled, apply chilled for 5 seconds, otherwise apply frostbite. So if you have chilled enemies, you can apply frostbite to them, which basically means you have to shoot them twice with this bow, right? It's basically just pierce damage, but it's also got the magic damage components on top, so it's very strong. It looks sick, and things get better because if the caster has this weapon, then hail of arrows will apply chill, and then you just shoot them to apply frostbite, which is extra damage over time. And then there's a bullseye improvement as well. If you have the weapon, you apply frozen to enemy creature with bullseye. So it's not enough that you knock them on the ground, you impair and silence them. No, you also freeze them. That's evil, sir. Then what do we have with this? Unending Volley has been changed to apply frostbite on top of everything. So this is already a very, very strong skill in terms of damage output, but then you just go absolutely nuts with frostbite on top, slowing them down, stacking it with other units that can apply slows, and potentially also freezing them right after. Plus, the projectile looks sick as well. The impact damage is super neat. Look at that! Oh yeah, I love it. That's a really cool bow. By the way, DonHyperion just got incubated with spiders there. Looks like the warlock figured out something. What is that? Where did that come from? Okay, we have the tier 3 staff. It looks the same as this, but this is like the special one from the middle of the map. So it's a bit unfortunate that this one was bought. Also have a revitalizing ring there for the warlock. Leasha just applied frostbite to everyone here. Or at least chilled. That was chilled, actually, I think. Frostbite on the tarantula. Because it's chilled and you hit them again and then they get that. Oh wait, it applies both right away. What the heck? Why do they do that? Huh? Isn't it supposed to do it on the second shot? Yeah, that's just a chill. Level 5 is achieved for the warlock. He got frozen. Wait, the freeze applies before the knockdown? Okay, this is a little janky. What have we got for Leasha? Incubating touch, obviously. level 2 of Spider Master's presence. So the spider's going to be really strong with extra 75 health there. And then we've got Venom Blast 2. So really long duration damage here. 250 damage over time on an area. See if Don actually gets to hold this. There's a lot of Guardians, but not much else. Oh. Okay, there is a knockdown, and then you get frozen, and then you're kind of stuck there while silenced. Oh my god. Rangers absolutely wiping the the infiltrators. But the base is still falling. There's just too much Leasha here, isn't there? Hero goes down. The incubation has worked. And we've got so many more now. The Guardians just have to make a run for it. They're also poisoned, by the way. And the Alvin base is destroyed. Dawn, Leasha can now take that over. Dawn is just kind of stuck on this tier 1 spam. Even though tier 2 is unlocked. We just don't have that much iron just yet. 2, 3, 4, 5. That's good. But will it be enough to actually transition properly? Once again, the Wanderers are getting made. We have a few Protectors this time. And in theory, the Wanderers are a good idea here, right? To deal with all the Tarantula spam with the AoE that they get. But I think Leasha is just gonna right-click these bases with the entire army. And there's no stopping them. There's not enough DonHyperion here. They're all gonna teleport over, obviously, to try and defend. Hero gets knocked down. The base is lost. There's a lot of focus fire coming in on that ranger. There's no armor on her or anything like that. There is only the resistance ring, and it's not doing enough work for her. The Elven army is getting absolutely obliterated. They have been incubated as well with spider babies, and they've just given birth. Even more spiders are around now. This is just nasty. The hero gets sniped in the end. Leasha can do whatever she wants. Take the harvester to collect all the echoes here. There's already 20 echoes in the bank, and that's going to be a whole lot more just now. Oh my. Destroying the base should be easy. Does actually Leasha have the perk? Yeah, Norse Vengeance is learned, so the Spooder might emerge at some point. But we also have Breath of Vitality, so, you know, Leasha does want this hero to do some work before it dies. But then we get the spider, if that occurs. I mean, there are so many iron mines here. If these get destroyed, plenty of resources can be collected by the Dark Elves. They can easily build up the iron economy for themselves here by just destroying these. The workers coming out of the Dark Ensign, once upgraded, will collect all that. Obviously, some is lost in the process, but still. Take those scraps. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, it's just 3. Just 3 iron mines. Not quite enough to make a lot of sleepers, but we've got a bunch already. More's coming for sure. There's another sector here to grab. No, the elves haven't even bothered with this one yet. Unfortunately for DonHyperion, Leasha will already be maxed out by the time they meet next time. He himself will maybe be at 100 population. There are some really good units in here, but they're not that much better than the Dark Elves. Even the spiders are gonna be a problem for this crew. There's more upgrades to do here, by the way. Oh no! Making a stone cutter, what is going on? I guess Don does need that for upgrading some of the sectors. He just lost an important one where he was getting stone. The Dark Elves are just here to bully at this point. What's this hero got in the bank? Oh, Leasha could definitely go shopping if selling the Norse Claw there. You can still claw back 300. So there's like some extra potions in there. I don't think it's a priority. Like, if you want to just get that big spider summon, that's good enough. Wolf did some work there. So are the Wanderers. Like I said, they can just cleave through these tarantulas. That's pretty good. But DonHyperion is definitely going to be on the retreat. Micro has been great, guys, I have to say. Another puppy explosion there. But now we've got the Death Spider. That's really going after the remaining more elite units. DonHyperion just doesn't have a way out of this. More spiders are spawning in. The sleepers are getting on top of the army. Although the ranger just reached level 7. This is so much echo for the Dark Elves to work with. And they've got a basilisk now as well. They can siege down the base while there's essentially no elven units left. DonHyperion loses the hero. And Leasha has 120 population left with a lot of units still crossing the map. These guys could just get into the iron mine and stop the production of these elite units. Groves are getting destroyed, so this base is now worthless, basically. And the hero will come back, but can't stop all this, right? DonHyperion has to resign. This is an equal series again. We're gonna get a game 5. That's my favorite thing. Rangers did so much damage with those puppy explosions, by the way. And then the Rangers finishing it off. Sorry, the Wanderers finishing it off was super cool. You can see a massive, massive drop here in the army. But overall, the Dark Elves just got huge, massive, really quickly. Huge sector advantage. No, not income advantage. It doesn't translate to that necessarily, but you get out those basic units. The Dark Elves are pretty dominant in that form, and this hero also can absolutely go after individual elven units and bully them. So we've reached the last match in this one. DonHyperion sticking with the elves. And Leasha's gonna be bringing a little bit of trolls to the table. Map is Loranian Catacombs. This is also pretty open through the middle, but there are plenty of little hills that block the paths. There's some small choke points to approach. The Siphoned Abomination in the corner, one of the scariest creatures in the entire game. We've also got the Nidari. Not featured in any other map at all. But the map is tiny. The trolls love tiny maps. The elves, I would say not as much. Like, if you can grow a little bit wider with the elves, that's great news. Whereas the trolls, they have 2 infinite resources, so long term they'll be very happy here. Creeps are a little bit interesting. We've got some pest bugs. We've got the moles, as well as the mutated cave spawn, which applies some really fun debuffs if attacked in melee. And there's obviously the Nidari, which spawn a lot of babies, so the longer you fight them, the worse it gets. Best to finish them quick. For that, you need a large army. We've already figured out DonHyperion's style. It's all about that early engagement. Wants to control the number of smashers that trolls can have. Right now, he's more focused on putting on damage this putting damage on this bee guy, forcing a bunch of potions to be used. Losing the Spectral Wolf is totally acceptable if you can get like 500 damage on that bee guy, right? Force another potion to be chugged. And just follow them around and be annoying. But at some point I think you want higher levels on that ranger as well. Walking through the Nidar is absolutely an option because they're passive. They don't fight you unless they are attacked themselves. And as far as build orders go, I think we've got just the 2 hunting huts in the main. That's right. Leasha's playing good old standard as usual. A lot of guardians are coming out for Dawn, almost constantly producing here, which means the second base was a little bit slower than it could have been. But there's 200 food in it, so plenty of hunt is available. This one is one with 300, so considering that it's a smaller map, it's pretty rich in food. We're just playing PvE at this point. By the way, always remember to swap your guardians into ranged modes once you fight the mutated cave spawn. And it's ideal to pick off the giant moles first. Because they don't have any retaliation, right? But ranged heroes are having a great time. Whereas melee units, well, the Spectral Wolf is getting decayed. Every attack you do increases your stage of decaying. And once you have minus 100% strike resistance, this thing just smacks you real hard. It's a good idea to pull back a little bit every now and then. When the wolf can go down, it's okay. Having a ranged unit attack means you're not getting the debuff. So ranged heroes are advantaged here, obviously. We've got the Ironbeak Boom Dropper build early on. So no tier 2 is required this time because you've got the Beak Eye who can just promote the regular birds with his skills. So this allows you to basically run after workers early on and absolutely cause some chaos in there, including with debuffs. So these hunters at the moment are quite weaker, as the trained Ironbeak can apply the Hunter's Mark. And 2 Woodlions are basically just completely shut down by these boom droppers. Great job by Leasha there. We got a main engagement as well, however, for the flag. Trolls aren't letting them have it. This is a level 4 ranger. You want to be a little bit careful there. Only got 1 point in brute force. These 2 points have not yet been applied. I'd like to see that going into brute force here to take out the smashers a little bit more easily. Hunters are getting bullied as well now. Oh, they're not supposed to apply it? Interesting. Well, now they no longer have it anyway.
Our workers are under attack.
But what basically happened is this hunting with beaks. Aura has given these guys a 60-second long buff, which triggers a spell with every attack that applies Hunter's Mark. So there's no bug, maybe a design intent change from Fallen coming through. He just said they're not supposed to do that. They're doing some great bonking on the workers over there. Smashers are here now. Obviously, the trolls aren't worried that much about the mutated cave spawn. Especially if the bee guy is the one tanking, it's okay. See, the smashers have a pretty long melee range. So they're not actually going to be hit back by this thing if the weak guy is the one taking the damage. However, DonHyperion comes in for the snipes. Oh, it's so dangerous to creep against this DonHyperion guy. He's so good at this. And look at him just reducing the smasher count so effectively. Okay, that was a miss, but still. Just killed 2 smashers and the hero, and gets a little bit of the XP reward as well as the potions. You can't fully jack creeps, like... you're not getting all the XP for that. There's no kill stealing. It's a percentile split. So everyone gets their earned rewards. No last hit shenanigans, like in Warcraft. It's still a pretty big deal if you pick up the item at the end. And the other guy does not. Plus the gold. Don't forget the gold. Still pretty cutthroat, this game, honestly. It can snowball so hard. I really like that these little buildings hold the scrap. It's memorable. Oh, and there's a merchant in the middle here, of course. You can go there. Hitting the troll buildings is now on the table. There are a bunch of extra iron beaks. See what those can do about the guardians. They're applying Hunter's Mark, so that's going to greatly benefit both themselves as well as the beak eye. I think this is how you're supposed to play it. Look at how they have to run now. They have to respect this. And with both players being level 4, despite a small discrepancy in XP, this is great news because you could just use multi-throw. Do a whole lot of damage as the Hunter's Mark is applied to those guys. Guardians don't have a lot of health, so getting this resistance debuff is huge. Tier 2 is in for the elves. And we are getting the first of the iron mines to come through. But there's not many iron mine bases like that. This isn't one, this isn't one, this isn't one. This isn't one. There's only 2 bases for iron. That's one of the weaknesses of this map for the elves. So the elves really have to concentrate on those 2 bases to be iron mines. The other bases have to do the rest. Now the guardians are going to go after the Nidari, but some of these have very high strike resists. So you gotta be careful which one you target with what damage type. The bewitching ones are okay. They don't resist anything much. If you're a magic damage guy like the Dark Elves, then obviously all of these Nidari are tough for you. So they're not gonna have an easy time at all. The Dark Elves need some kind of weakening or stuff like that. Trolls are just having a party, however, especially with the Skull Crushers being out now and the Iron Beaks applying the Hunter's Mark. 1 troll dies, but it's been worth it. Almost level 6 has been achieved by Leasha, which should mean Hunting Frenzy is on the table. Maybe level 2s of these throws, something like that. I don't think Leasha would train fighters. Probably happy with these. Oh wait, is training fighters in fact. Interesting. Dawn is level 6. Real quickly, let's take a look. The usual, guys, the usual. But this time we have True Shot 2 as well. I wonder if we're gonna buy the special weapons. Leasha already has the tier 3 spike. Merchant.
Yes.
Merchant time. Tier 3 armor and weapon.
What now?
Some much needed upgrades here, and the revitalizing ring, and we've got a good amount of potions, so DonHyperion is in a good space here. Shielding amulet is not equipped for the Beak-Eye. This could be a big problem long term. Hopefully it's picked up upon. Oh, the base is getting debuffed by Hunter's Mark? What the heck? No, the workers. It's the workers. We're all good. I just couldn't see them behind. Whole army is getting Hunter's Marked. Oh my goodness. Oh, the Beak-Eye is opening up now. Tell us how you really feel, Beak-Eye. Holy shit. That's a massacre. DonHyperion has to leave. This is ridiculous. See, those beak skills are pretty good. Can't just be all about skull crushers. Protectors are getting added in. That will help DonHyperion a lot. I bet he regrets that attack. It should have probably just gone after the Siphoned Abomination, which doesn't have strike resist. Could have done a lot there. But now, this is open to Leasha also. Okay, Fallen is confirming that the beaks applying Hunter's Mark is not in fact intended. It is a bug. You sure you don't want to leave it in? It's kind of cool. But I guess you want the Beak-Eye to do the marking, right? That's what I'd guess anyway. We've got the Wardens out. A whole lot more of that needed. I don't think DonHyperion should rush to cause trouble here, really. There's just no need to engage the trolls right now. Although I like lingering around their bases just so that you get updated about what's happening. Maybe destroy a building or two. Okay, Fallen confirms there's enough other ways to apply it. He doesn't want this. Fine. Just don't update the mod right now, please. I'll need to take a thumbnail. After the stream, maybe? I'll message you. Oh, and by the way, I'm planning to start setting up the tournament stuff, so probably an announcement is coming tomorrow for that. We're probably not going to do 3 parallel tournaments now, just 2. The Pro League and the Rising Star League, no amateur. It's really tough for the Alvin army with that much Hunter's Mark on them, that's for sure. But it's only 10% weakening. What gets really strong is when you add in throwers, which also apply another 10% actual weakening. And that stacks. So 20% reductions. Everyone's being very careful here. It's the 5th game, so everything's riding on this. The elves have all the upgraded bases. And this one's coming in a sec. I think they're going to be fine sticking to tier 2 for a long period here. It's just so many guardians. That's what I'm worried about. Oh, it's cool that they get buffed by the protector phalanx, right? But it's just guardians. Whereas the trolls are getting a lot more sophisticated. They've got wall breakers, they've got skull crushers. Speaking of, do we have their upgrades? This is the hitting camp. Yeah, we have the upgrade already for the skull crusher. So they're hitting 3 targets. We don't yet have the stomp ability for the wall breakers, which is really what changes the dynamic completely. If you can knock down those elven units, that's kind of tough stuff. Anyways, big fight coming in. No, Don's leaving. Yeah, I wouldn't do it. Actually, the trolls are 185 population right now. That's crazy. Is Leasha not getting the scrap? Hold up. Oh wait, they're fighting again. Every time we do these little engagements, a lot of elves die. For 2 smashers, you do not want to lose 2 protectors and some additional guardians, of course. So, yeah, that's not been so great for Don. I think he needs to stop this. Go after that big creep. Get your hero to stupid levels. Maybe get out some of those weakening potions from the merchant. That's the kind of stuff I'd like to see. At the moment, Leasha is just laughing all the way to the bank with this. Got a whole lot of smashers getting upgraded. And the hex camp is now up. This is Sharp Eye of the Tribe. We're gonna have a whole lot of shrines to Mugwa coming up, including a moon temple. That's interesting. Another base fully upgraded here and here. Not this one yet. Soon. There's not a lot of stone at the moment. Tier 3 for the elves? Nah, I don't think so. Not time yet. Don isn't that rich, but yeah, he's figuring it out about the creep. Plenty of iron mines though for the elves, right? Maybe this one needs a few extra workers, but it's like the... Okay, it's like an extra one. Okay, we're going after the abomination, but this thing is strong, you'll see. It can do that. That pull ability just is so disruptive, and the bleeding is actually really strong at 20 pure damage per second. So those guardians are suffering. They're getting taken down so fast. Holy cow. But so does the Siphoned Abomination. It doesn't have resists, right? Meanwhile, the trolls are attacking the other side, however. That ranger better get some good stuff out of this, but it's only the Amulet of Omnipotence, so it's not that strong. Just some health and focus. It doesn't hurt by any means. And the extra level certainly was helpful. It's just losing a base for it. I don't know. You kind of wish that this was a base, but it's not. There's nothing there. Also didn't actually pick up the teleporter. Can we actually fight the trolls, however? So this is starting to be a much more sophisticated Avan army. Let's just check if the wall breakers have their ability. Oh, they do. The stomp will be really brutal here, and it's coming through. It's such a strong ability, guys. The trolls are absolutely cleaving through the elves at the moment. That wasn't even close. Taking out a quarter of their units from the fight, even for just a few seconds, allows you to do that nasty, nasty damage. Oh yeah, you guys are right. That Siphoned Abomination is like a real elite creep. I love it. I just think these stronger creeps on the community maps are making the gameplay so much more interesting. Like, you actually put yourself at risk. You have to micro. You probably don't want your weak guys in there. It's a real risk to go for it. If the other guy just comes in and bonks your army while you're weak, well, that sucks. So you have to scout. You probably want to distract a little bit. So sending out the weak guys to do some harassment plays, distract the other guy while going with your strong guys to go after the creep, probably is a play that's just not meta yet, but will be at some point. I think we can expect that kind of stuff. By the way, Leasha is still on the tier 1 armor. Very ballsy. Has equipped the amulet though. Now the mage units can feast anytime they like. There's plenty of corpses here to eat. Don is starting to get going with watchtowers. Every little bit counts. Leasha, ditto. I mean, they have all this extra wood. You might as well tower up your bases. Makes them a little bit harder to crack. What else are you gonna do with the wood? At some point you'll want farms. Maybe DonHyperion is starting to run low on logs, actually. So upgrading these to foresters was pretty important, but I'm not sure you really need 4 workers in them. Like, I just normally do 2. And that's enough for this later stage of the game. Hey, the trolls are totally surrounded there. So many of them got taken out, and Don just does the right thing and gets out of this with a quick teleport. So as to not get surrounded. He's still got a lot of ranged units. And the trolls just have to leave. Leasha just suffered a massive defeat here in this battle. Being down population against elves is the last thing you want, because trolls are actually not population effective. So if they're 200 pop and the other guy's 200 pop, that's not good for the trolls. Except perhaps if they have like highly stacked mages which have eaten a lot. Then it's okay. Those tier 3 mages are definitely something to be respected. But the elves just tend to be a lot more population effective. I mean, look, these protectors, how much are they again? They're 4 pop. Every troll is 6 pop. The wardens are 4 pop. And they're really cheap in terms of iron, really. Especially the wardens. Same seas for the wanderers. They're not yet upgraded for magic damage, by the way, but I'm sure that's coming. And DonHyperion takes back another base. Obviously has the iron sector here highly upgraded. There's still plenty of iron left as well. And this sector would be a large priority to take over because there is more iron here. Leasha obviously doesn't touch that because trolls don't play with iron. By the way, what's this thing? This giant mushroom tree. I love it. I was checking it earlier, but there's nothing in there. Obviously, the scrap is in the little structure. Leasha hasn't touched it. Uh-oh. Enough elves knocked down. This is the play, I think, for Leasha. Just get some of those stomps done. Have a lot more mages, and things will be fine. But you probably want to phase out your Skull Crushers at this point. They're just not as effective against all the magic damage that comes in the late game. Armor-wise, tier 3 armor has been bought. That's good. Potions are still looking fine as well. And for skills, we don't have Corpse Seeker training, which could be useful. It's a lot of skills to activate, though. As the Corpse Seeker can, like, cast an area that causes bleeding damage to enemies, buffs your own guys for armor. It's not bad by any means, but... Ooh, that's a very risky location for the Tainted Obelisk, by the way. Like, the transferring workers... if we ever get to see a Titan, we would have to carry resources in a pretty nasty way. Very easy to disrupt. But I'm not sure we're gonna get there. Although both players are pretty rich. We've got the Lenya now coming in for the elves as well. This fight is looking very favored for DonHyperion still. Clearing out all of the frontline units. Sure, losing a lot as well. But can the trolls actually remake the army quickly enough? There are ballista in here. And DonHyperion is still advancing overall. blindings coming through, so that's reducing the range of these guys a lot. Pushing them right into the melee units, that hurt. That was a really good use of blinding there. Everyone's enfeebled in the stinky auras of the mages, but it's still not enough for Leasha to hold on to the alive, because the ballista are actually shrekking this base, and every single troll has died, including some of those scrappers. And with the protectors having been upgraded throughout this, 1950 health, good luck breaking through that. They're getting an extra armored boon in the end there. And, you know, while not every tier 3 upgrade has been done yet, it's enough. DonHyperion is going to be victorious in this one. GG. That protector upgrade is just so very strong. So yeah, I just want to really quickly thank DonHyperion and Leasha for playing these games and sending them in. Much appreciated indeed. Guys, if you are playing the game and want to send in your replays, whether it's modded or not, I'll be more than happy to cast it. So just hop in my Discord, send them there. Really appreciate it. If you're on YouTube, then please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.